Hey everybody, it's Allie Edwards and I am back today with story 20 in my December daily album for 2022. Today I am going to be working on a couple things here. One is I have a video, and some of you guys I think saw this in my foundation pages, where I built this shaker page that has the glitter on the front. It's got the die cut on the front there. Let's pull it out just so you can see. And I used foam tape to create this shaker pocket on the inside. And so what I'm going to do today is I want to pair this. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the number 20 on here, and then this is going to get paired with this page. So this is the one from, I believe, the main kit. We had a couple of variations on this time. There was another one that I think is the craft colored one that had gold on it. I'm gonna use that to tell the story of a really fun outing that Erin and I had with a few of our friends this year. We went to an event that was just so fun. And so what I've done so far, this was one of those ones where it had a photo booth. So we took a lot of pictures, obviously, of ourselves, both in the photo booth and then in front of the band. We were listening to a yacht rock cover band here in Eugene at a brewery, and it was super fun. So what I'm looking at doing is I have that. So I have this page, I have these that are trimmed to the size of the tags that can be trimmed down, and then I also have some journaling. So 3 of these things are text that my friends sent to me after the event, and then one of them is one that I wrote talking about the night that we had. So I'm looking at doing a combination of things. I'm not exactly sure how I want to bring all of this together yet. I'm kind of thinking that I will do layers, right? And I just saw somebody this morning, I think it was in the Facebook group, someone had something similar to this, and I can't remember if I've seen other people do this too, but where they're having layers on top of the tags, right? And then using a brad where you can turn them to see the photo or the journaling or whatever else is underneath it. We also have these vellum tags that can go on top. So I'm kind of considering that maybe I'll have a layer that's the vellum layer and then the photo and then the journaling underneath. I'm going to try that and see how it goes. Obviously not all of these pictures are going to fit with the full piece or the full photo in there, so I'm going to pick kind of my favorite ones on the ones that are the full tags, and then some of these other ones I'll use some of the other pictures there as well. Probably using these 3, 4 right here for my story, and I might have to adjust a few of these or adjust some of these too based on that as well. All right, so I'm going to dive in again. I'm using this as the background. It's paired with this page, which feels very celebratory and fun. I think one of the first things that I am going to do though is I am going to punch holes in this pattern paper so that I know where the holes are located as I am working on building up my layers. So this one again has, you know, multiple steps, right? So steps in terms of editing my photos, cropping them to the size of the tags, which I did 3.75 by 2.25. 3.75 by 2.25 is the size that I made those, and then obviously they will get trimmed down to the shape of the tags, and I can use these vellum ones for that, just to trim along the edge there. All right, so I am going to dive in, take you along with me. All right, let's dive into this one. The first thing I did, like I said, was punch the holes in the pattern paper. That's going to help me understand where the holes are as I am trimming out different things here. Step 1 is essentially cut all your stuff out, right? Get all your photos cut out and your journaling cut out. So one of the things that you're going to see from me here in this particular project is I ended up redoing the journaling tags a number of times. So the photos I actually reprint twice too. So I used two sheets of the same photos, and they're going to get placed on all of those different little tag shapes. So some of them are only going to be partial images of the photos, and then the other ones will be full images of the photos, some of them that are going to be layered underneath the other tags. So step one is just getting all of your stuff cut out. Again, I sized these to 3.75 by 2.25 in Photoshop. I did all, the editing first and then printed them all out on one sheet of paper. If you need tips on how to do the printing multiple photos on one sheet of paper, I have a video linked for you in the blog post that will show you a little bit more about my personal process for doing that in Photoshop to be able to print more than one photo on a page in a variety, and you can do it in a variety of different sizes there. All right, so one of the things that happened for me in this particular project is I originally set up my journaling. Again, this is taken from text messages and then one that I wrote. And I oriented them in boxes that were the same shape, and then I brought them over here. I wasn't sure where I was going to be placing them. So tip for you is to look at the actual pattern paper as you are orienting your journaling if you're doing it on the computer. You can also, a really smart thing to do would just be to use the digital version of the paper. That would also work as well. I had to reprint mine a few times. You'll see that come up again as I got more clear on what I was doing is actually really what it was that was happening. I did go ahead and use red line tape to adhere that number 20 on the outside of my shaker page. Again, I've got another video that'll show you how to make that page. I do end up adding a canvas phrase at the end. So here is my second version of my journaling tags. These ones were oriented specifically to the tags that I was selecting that I wanted them to be on top of, including one that was potentially going to be on a little bit of a slant there. You can see that on the journaling. But then once I set it down, I hadn't made any accommodations for the holes to be there, so I'm going to end up reprinting that one again. But once I get them in the right spot, or in terms of like where they are going to be, then I can start the layering process. So once I have the journaling just right, which took a few times, like I said, then I begin the layering process. So then I'm laying a photo on top, and then for the ones with the journaling, I'm also putting the vellum frame, tag frame on top as well, and using that vellum tag frame as the template. So there was one that I did fix, I got it set up so that it would be able to go over there, but then I was like, oh, but it's going to be on the rings, and then I wouldn't be able to turn the tag itself. And so then I kind of pivoted again. In a minute here, you're going to see me pivot again, which is what I end up doing is I cut out that the large joy tag. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just placing where are my photos going to go on these other tag shapes, because I wanted all the tag shapes to have something on top of them. So I'm kind of just trying to figure out where can those go and starting to do a little bit of that. Also, at one point in the process here, I was looking around my house and in my room, my office here, to see if I had any larger brads, because I do go through the process of punching all the holes, and then I ended up needing to run out and go find some brads. So I went to Walmart and I got these larger gold brads that are able to hold all three of these. I messed around a little bit with trying to use twine, and that definitely works if to tie all of them together, and you can kind of tie it loosely so then you can still turn the tags to be able to see the parts that are underneath. But it just didn't work right for me, partly because the tags then hung down lower, and so I didn't want that. I want them to be able to sit there pretty much closer to their original location rather than hanging down, and the brads definitely did that. So on the ones that had the journaling and the photo and the vellum on top, I am adhering those down with foam adhesive, so they're popping up a little bit off the back of the page. Any of the ones, even the ones that are these photos that I'm adhering directly down onto the back of the page, any of those other tags, if there was a hole there, I am adding the journaling on top. Here's where I went ahead, or I'm adding the silver or the gold brad there. Here's where I took my craft knife and my ruler, and I am cutting out the joy tag, because I decide that I want to use that space and that tag for another one of my journaling tags. So I had 4 journaling tags total, 1 that I wrote, and then 3 that were taken from text messages from my friends. So I'm cutting that out, and I'm going to do the same thing with the joy tag that I've been doing on the other ones, is layer it on top of a photo and on top of the journaling. And so I reprinted my journaling one more time for one of those, I think from one of my friends. And then I just printed it out on a 4x6 piece of photo paper so that it would then be adhered behind, since I cut out that tag. And then I am actually going ahead and using the paper piercer and putting the brad all the way through the pattern paper. The rest of them I just did them through the vellum tag, the photo, and then the journaling. This is the only one right here that actually went through the whole entire piece of paper. So then I reprinted out. Here's my second sheet of photos. Again, I printed these again just so that I could have additional photos to add into the tag shapes there. And I didn't care if it was repeating photos that I already had on there. I just kind of liked the look of the people becoming a part of the pattern, right? That's really kind of what's happening here, especially with photos like this where there's just tons of people making a variety of different faces on them. I thought that was really fun. So again, if there was a hole in them, I did add a brad to them, and it's not a functioning brad. It's just kind of more for decoration. Let's see. So just doing a little bit of rolling adhesive and then sticking the whole thing down. Again, I could have used the brad. I could have pushed the brads through the pattern paper all the way, but it was just as easy to not do that. Once I had everything else in place, I did grab some of the sticker tabs there. I added four red ones onto the photos of the ones that had journaling underneath them, so it shows a little bit more that they are interactive. Then I went through a couple different ideas for things to put on top. In the end, I grabbed the three red stars from the star package there. We had a big pack of plastic stars, and then I am stapling them right on top of the vellum. I thought that was a cute way. Again, sticking with the red, but a cute way to finish that off. Adding it into my album there as a second page behind the shaker page. And this is where I add just a little bit of stitching onto another one of those canvas phrases, and I'm going to use a red line tape to adhere that on top of the 20. I did a number 20 twice. I did it on this page, and then I added another one onto one of the stars on my on one of my vellum tags there, just as another reminder that it was story 20. I don't really care that I have 2 number 20s on there. I think it's just fine. All right, as always, if you guys have questions on this project, let me know. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday, and I'll be back again soon.